am 81 years old, and I am going to tell you something that will make half of you uncomfortable. I fell in love again at 76, and my children, the very people I raised, fed, protected, and sacrificed everything for, they tried to stop me. They did not want me to be happy. Not because they are bad people, but because they forgot that I am still a person. My name is Eleanor. People have called me Ellie since I was a girl in Michigan, back when my father worked the Ford assembly line and my mother hung laundry in the backyard, even in January. I was married to my husband Harold for 52 years. We raised 3 children together. We buried one. We survived cancer, bankruptcy, a house fire in 1983, and the kind of silence that settles into a marriage when 2 people stop trying to understand each other. Harold died on a Tuesday morning in April, 4 years before I met the man who would change everything. I remember the exact moment. I was making coffee. He was sitting in his chair by the window, the one with the green cushion that had faded from all those years of sun. I heard him make a small sound, almost like a sigh, and when I turned around, he was gone, just like that. 52 years. And it ended with a sigh. For 2 years after Harold died, I did what widows are supposed to do. I wore dark colors. I visited his grave every Sunday. I had dinner with my children on holidays and pretended I was not drowning in a house that suddenly felt too big and too quiet. My daughter Patricia would call me every evening at 7 o'clock, not to talk, but to check if I was still alive. My son Michael would come by once a month to fix things that did not need fixing, because he did not know what else to do. And my youngest, David, the one who lives in California, he would send flowers on my birthday and Harold's death anniversary, which I suppose was his way of saying he still remembered I existed. And here is the thing nobody tells you about grief. It does not kill you. You wish it would some days, but it does not. Your body keeps waking up. Your lungs keep breathing. Your heart, that stubborn, foolish heart, it keeps beating even when you beg it to stop. And one morning, you realize you are not just surviving anymore. You are starting to want things again. Small things at first. A cup of coffee that someone else made. A conversation that is not about pills or doctor appointments. A hand to hold that is warm and alive. I met George at the community center. He was 79, a retired history teacher, a widower himself. He had these eyes that crinkled when he laughed, and he laughed often, which surprised me because I had forgotten that old people could still laugh like that. We were both there for a watercolor class that neither of us had any talent for. I painted a lopsided tree. He painted something that might have been a dog or a cloud. We never figured out which. And for the first time in 2 years, I laughed. Really laughed. The kind of laugh that comes from your belly and makes your eyes water. We started having coffee after class. Then lunch. Then he began calling me in the evenings, right around 7, the same time Patricia called. and I found myself rushing to finish my conversation with her so I could answer his call. One evening, he took my hand across the table at the diner where we had become regulars. He looked at me and said, "Ellie, I know we are both old. I know this probably seems ridiculous, but I think I am falling in love with you." And I said, "George, I know I am falling in love with you too." That was when everything fell apart, I told my children. I thought they would be happy for me. I thought they would see what I saw, that their mother, who had been slowly fading into the furniture, was coming back to life. Instead, Patricia sat me down in my own kitchen and said, "Mum, do you really think this is appropriate?" Michael asked how much George was worth and whether I had considered protecting my assets. David from California sent a long email about how quickly elderly people can be manipulated and included links to articles about romance scams. My own children, the babies I had nursed and raised and loved with every fibre of my being. They looked at me and saw a victim, a fool, a liability. You see, when you are old, people stop seeing you as a full human being. To your children, you become a collection of problems to be managed. Your health, your finances, your safety. They forget that inside this wrinkled body, there is still a woman who wants to be touched, who wants to be desired, who wants to wake up next to someone and feel like she matters. They cannot imagine their mother having those feelings because to them, I stopped being a woman the moment I became their mother. I became a role, a function, not a person. And here is what I want you to understand. Whether you are 30 or 50 or 75, your children's discomfort with your happiness is not your responsibility. Read that again. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. They may dress it up as concern, they may call it protection, but what they are really saying is, stay in your box. Stay in the role we assigned you. Do not remind us that you are a human being with needs and desires, because that makes us uncomfortable. Patricia said something to me that I will never forget. She said, "Mom, what would Dad think?" And I looked at her, my own daughter, and I said, "Patricia, your father is dead. He has been dead for 2 years. And when I die, I do not want to go to my grave wondering what it would have been like to let myself live one more time." George and I got married 6 months later. It was a small ceremony in his backyard. Only his sister came from my family. The rest refused. We had 4 years together. 4 years of morning coffee and evening walks and falling asleep with someone beside me. 4 years of being seen and touched and loved. George died last year. A stroke, quick and sudden, much like Harold. But I do not regret a single day, not one. My daughter Patricia still calls me every evening at 7. We never talk about George. We never talk about those 4 years. She has rewritten history in her mind so that it never happened. But I know it happened. My body knows it happened. My heart knows. If you are watching this and you are old like me, or getting there, Let me tell you something. You have permission. You have permission to fall in love again. You have permission to want companionship and intimacy and joy. You have permission to ignore your children when they try to keep you small, because they cannot handle your bigness. You do not need to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. And if you are watching this and you are young or middle-aged, and you have an elderly parent who has found someone new, I am asking you to look at them. Really look at them. See the person behind the parent. See the loneliness they carry when they think no one is watching. See the way their eyes light up when they talk about this new person in their life. And instead of making it about you, about your inheritance, about your discomfort, about what the neighbors might think, ask yourself this question. Do I want my mother to die lonely? Do I want my father to spend his last years staring at the walls, waiting for death, because I was too selfish to let him live? The resistance your children feel, it comes from fear. They fear losing you. They fear change. They fear having to rethink who you are. But your job at this age is not to manage their fears. Your job is to live, to squeeze every last drop of joy out of whatever time you have left, to let yourself feel things again, even if it scares everyone around you. I am 81. I have buried 2 husbands and 1 child. I have more doctor appointments than I can count, and hands that shake when I try to button my coat. But I am still here. I am still alive, and I refuse to apologize for wanting to feel alive until the very end. Tell me your story in the comments. I want to know. Did you find love again after everyone said you should not? Did your family support you or fight you? I read every single comment, and it makes this quiet house feel a little less empty. If this meant something to you, subscribe to this channel. Do it for the person you will be in 20 years, so that when you need to hear this, it will be here waiting for you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a parent, a grandparent, a friend who is being told they are too old to love, share this with them before it is too late. You are never too old to let someone hold your hand. You are never too old to feel your heart flutter. You are never too old to say yes to life. Remember that. Remember that when the world tries to convince you that your best days are behind you. They are not. They are right here, right now, waiting for you to claim them.